Ladies and gentlemen, another week and another garbage episode of Raw. Everything about this Raw episode literally proves to you why this product is failing, why viewership is down, why the fans complain every single show, why nobody seems content with this current product. And the reason why is, of course, Triple Ford sucks at his job. At this point, it's safe to say that this dude is probably the number one. I mean, I've already known this, obviously. He is the number one culprit for why these shows suck week to week. He is complacent. He is generic. He is getting lazy. He obviously does not have any creativity put into any of these shows. In most of these shows, he's not even showing up at backstage anymore to actually be there live and call the show. A report came out today, an official report, okay, from all the Wrestle Trades. They basically said that the morning of WrestlePalooza, Drew McIntyre and Codarius Rodington came together to come up with the idea for Drew to win the championship at WrestlePalooza and have Randy Orton be the reason as that happens, and then build into Orton's heel turn over the next month or two and actually get it going. That way Cody can actually fight his way back to a championship and it can feel earned. It will be done through storytelling, him having a compelling story that they could easily tell with Orton. The past, the history they have, you know what I'm saying, Orton wanting to be on top again and get a world title again, you know, get number 15 or 14, however many world titles he's trying to get. That is what would actually have been a good idea. And then you can have Drew and Seth rekindle their feud that they had leading into Mania 40, which was the last good feud while we actually had a world champion on Raw. Think about it. When's the last time we had a good world championship feud? It was Drew and Seth leading into Mania 40, and the Punk involvement and all that too. That was the last time we had a good world championship storyline for Monday Night Raw. And now you look at it, we have had nothing. And you mean to tell me that the morning of WrestlePalooza as well, Brock Lesnar was going to lose to John Cena, setting up John Cena to actually go and do something other than this, you know, do this Lesnar nonsense, you know, do something unique, something special. But as we saw in WWE Unreal, it's the same thing. The writers and the creative team, someone will come up with a decent idea. Like in the Unreal show, it was CM Punk or John Cena being the ones to win the Rumble. And then it was ultimately having a situation where Punk would win at Mania in his match, or he was going to be, you know, winning the Rumble and taking the world title off of Gunther or taking it from Cody, etc. They have these ideas that are decent. Cena winning the title at Mania. The Rock has the idea, hey, have Cody turn heel and be my corporate champion for a few months so we can tell a great story and have Cena earn that epic moment at at Mania 41, toppling me, Cody, and Travis Scott or whoever else is involved, and it would have been epic. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Triple H tells him, no, let's have Cena turn heel. And then all of a sudden, Cena's heel turn is an absolute garbage disaster, and Triple H has sabotaged Cena's final run in this company, man. You have to start looking at this. Triple H is actively ruining every single storyline. People who are someone backstage has some type of creativity, and they sometimes come up with good ideas, and Triple H is there to shoot every single idea down and replace it with the garbage nonsense that he has in his vision, no pun intended, because we're going to talk about the garbage vision with Seth Rollins and his promo with Codarius Rodington, which was absolutely unbearable and boring nonsense. But anyways, it just goes to show you how far Triple H, the depth that he's going to ruin this product. It's not an exaggeration. It's not hyperbole. It's trash. And it's not just me saying that. It's even ESPN, who reviewed WrestlePalooza and gave it a C grade, saying it was disappointing. This is not just me saying it. It's ESPN. It's Sports Illustrated. You know what I'm saying? It's Bleacher Report. These are the facts at this point. And if you still disagree with the fact that Triple H is running this company into the ground, I don't know what to tell you. You can blame TKO all you want. You ain't spending money to go to these shows anyways. It sucks that they're pricing fans out of arena, but that's not what we have to worry about as people watching the show week to week on TV. We need to worry about the quality getting good again, because it has not been good in over a year and a half. When is the last time Raw and SmackDown felt like actual, like, must-see TV? You had to tune in week to week. It was the Mania 40 build with actual superstars like The Rock and Roman Reigns. And ever since then, Cody Rhodes finally won the belt, and things have been going downhill because Triple H took over. He had no storylines to lean back off of. Roman took a break for 4 or 5 months. Punk couldn't wrestle for 4 or 5 months, and you had nothing to show for it. This is an absolute disaster that this company has been, and it is infuriating seeing this company die week after week. This show stinks, man. Now, let's get into the actual product of Monday Night Raw tonight, which was complete garbage. This episode of Raw exposes this company because every single segment tonight, I heard the word respect at least 150 times. This is embarrassing, man. Rhea Ripley goes backstage and she's talking about some, yeah, are you sure that Oscar's gonna show me some respect, yeah? Because all I want to do is take back my title that never lost, yeah? And I can't do that, yeah? With the disrespect, yeah? Cut a promo. Do something interesting. Have something engaging, man. This is honestly, you know what, I'm gonna say this right now. This is not Rhea Ripley's fault anymore. Her cutting these boring promos saying the same things, complaining about the disrespect from Asuka. These are grown adults, including in Cody Rhodes and Rollins' promo. It's all about respect and love and care, and I love you, I'm proud of you, I need you, I appreciate you, I hate you, blah, 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 blah. Gosh, this show stinks, man. It's infuriating seeing this nonsense. Why are we constantly shown every single storyline and feud and segment is all about love and respect and care? I don't want to see that. When are we going to get an actual feud? Not even a blood feud, just a good feud with solid storytelling. At least a decent through line. You know what I'm saying? And an epic conclusion to that storyline without it feeling repetitive, nonsensical, and not making any sense. Obviously, I said that with nonsensical, of course, but also just not being entertaining. You have these people like Cody Rhodes, Rollins, Ripley. Some of your top stars are showing up on these shows week to week, and you still can't make good shows. How is it possible that Seth Rollins and Cody, two of the 4 or 5 biggest, male wrestlers on the planet at this moment, and you're telling me that this segment that they had, this promo in the opening segment, couldn't even be at least average? This segment was bad. It was boring. The crowd obviously checked out because nobody cares. It's awkward nonsense, man. This company has gone soft under Triple H's vision. You can say whatever you want about Vincent Kennedy McMahon, but at the end of the day, at least you had some spontaneity. You had some shock factor here that it actually made sense. And well, sometimes it made sense, you know what I'm saying? And also, it had you engaged, you know what I'm saying, and what was happening, at least in the main event storylines, week to week sometimes. But this is embarrassing. It's the same formulaic nonsense. You know what you're getting every single week, man. You know, like, it's just, you look at what Roman's championship reign was, and you look at what you see now with Cody Rhodes' second now WWE championship reign, and with Rollins' second world title reign, and they both suck. The vision is garbage. Cody and Seth were just teaming together last year to topple Roman and his faction to end the tyranny reign he had on WWE, and then the following year, Rollins starts a faction and titles it his vision. That makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. They were just teaming together. Now they're fighting each other and they can't stand each other. Like, this is just, it's so stupid. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed's stocks have diminished and are basically evaporated under this vision thing, man. All of Braun Breaker's live mic promos stink. Same thing with Bronson Reed. No one wants to watch this anymore. This isn't entertaining. Nobody likes watching this, and it's not it's not something that you can actually be engaged in week to week, man. These shows are formulaic, boring, nonsensical trash. And until they actually decide to make a legitimate change and put a legitimate effort towards making these shows good again, and by they I mean Triple Fraud and the creative team, I don't know what's going to change. I genuinely don't know. I've ranted on, you know what I'm saying? I haven't even gotten to the show really, but I don't care about this show. Nothing happened, man. Roxanne Perez, by the way, we have to just talk about this. We're going to start off with this, man. You know what I'm saying? Your boy's stuttering, but still, okay? The point is this. We're going to talk about the Roxanne Perez and Bayley match real quick, and then I'm going to talk about Cody and Seth's promo, okay? Because I just want to get this Bayley stuff out of the way. This Bayley split personality gimmick where she's basically like, like a Venom and Eddie Brock situation, right? Bayley comes up to, she's like, don't touch me, stay away from me, Eddie, we can do whatever we want. What are you talking about? Nobody cares if Bayley has a split personality, man. I don't want to see this joke or nonsense. I don't give a crap about what Bayley is doing at this current moment in time. This isn't engaging. Roxanne Perez has been pinned 15 billion times in the last 4 or 5 months alone. And she's supposed to be the prodigy. You know what I'm saying? The next, prodigy, the next future face of the women's industry for the next decade to come. That's what she's been billed as. And she gets pinned and pinned and pinned and pinned. And it's burger after burger after burger. And you thought I was going to say that? I can't stop thinking about Punk and how bad this show is. That is what this is. Now, with that being said, Bayley pins Roxanne Perez, okay? Pop Rocks gets pinned for the 50th time, and then she pushes Lara to the ground because she's having a split personality gimmick, and, we are Venom! You know what I'm saying? All that other nonsense, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you can go with we are Venom. You know what I'm saying? You can do all kinds of different variations with it, okay? Your boy likes the Venom voice. You know, I actually think it's pretty cool. Shout out to Tom Hardy. Now let's get into the Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins segment, all right? Cody Rodington and Seth Rollins bored the crowd to death at this point. We are watching them go through a rematch for air at Crown Jewel. They're going to fight for the Crown Jewel Championship, which nobody cares about. Nobody's talked about the Crown Jewel title or the Crown Jewel Championship since last year's Crown Jewel. That's it. Cody says he wants a second ring, okay? He wants a second Crown Jewel Championship. Rollins then comes out and says this is complicated because of our history and our past. They then proceed to not even really dive into the past properly, not even really talk that much on Mania 40 or their feud before, and how Cody had just came back to the industry. They don't dive into the depth of any of this stuff because, quite frankly, if we're being realistic with ourselves, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are not amazing storytellers, at least consistently. There's certain people in WWE, like a John Cena, right, or a Rock, for example, or even a Roman Reigns at this point, you know, after what he's done the last 5 years, where you can count on them to at least be able to tell you a story in the best possible way, whether it's through facial expressions, you know what I'm saying, the mic work, the storytelling work, the segments backstage and live mic. They are able to actually tell you and invest you in stories. Hence why Roman Reigns had one of the greatest championship reigns of all time, why John Cena is, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, and why The Rock is one of the greatest of all time. Now you look at what you have. These are the guys that are here week to week and build as your top guys, Rollins and Cody. They're in the ring, on a live mic, and you're bored. There's a problem with that picture. It's the booking of Triple H making what they're saying not interesting at all, and it's also the fact that Cody and Seth cannot deliver a good promo tonight. They just couldn't do it. It was embarrassing. Nobody can, I can't even tell you, if I didn't write down what they actually said in the promo, I would not remember what they said, because nobody cares. They're saying nonsense, and it doesn't matter. Cody glazes and basically says that Rollins changed his life by being his Shield at Mania 40. He then basically says that he had Becky Lynch, his lovely wife, on a podcast. I'm like, dude, number one, kayfabe is already gone. We already understand that. We established that. But why are you talking about his wife, who is a heel in storyline, about being on your Libation podcast? Nobody cares about being on All Aboard Libation Station or whatever it's called. What do you want to talk about? You know, nobody cares about that nonsense. Man, I could go on for hours at this point about how bad this segment is. Dude, this show, I'm going to tell you right now, man, this is just the reality of the situation, okay? Vincent Kennedy McMahon, I'm going to bring him up again. Vince McMahon is the last booker in WWE and arguably in wrestling as a whole, because I love MJF. MJF is probably my second favorite current wrestler, you know what I'm saying? Not like I'm not counting guys like Cena and Rock. Obviously, those are my two favorite wrestlers of all time, but like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about current wrestlers, you know what I'm saying, that have at least been developed within the last like decade or so. Roman Reigns is obviously my favorite, and then probably MJF or what's called, or Seth Rollins, because at this point, I don't know who else to put here. MJF has the whole package at this point. But if you look at the rest of these older guys, like Cody Rhodes, for example, is in his early 40s. Roman's 40 as well, but you get the point. They're actually billing Cody Rhodes as a top guy who's showing up week to week, and he's not one half as good as MJF is. It's not even close. Like, if you actually watch any of these dudes cut promos, are you kidding me? Who thinks that Cody Rhodes is better than MJF at literally anything? Like, are you kidding me at this point? And we have to watch Codarius Rodington? WWE should have been, putting out millions and millions of dollars to sign MJF when he was a free agent like early last year. I don't know how they didn't sign this dude. I really don't understand it. How can you miss that opportunity? I would much rather see MJF going out here than see Cody Rhodes coming out and cutting the same promo for the last year and a half. Then after this, he basically says, Seth Rollins basically says, Cody Rhodes tells him that you can be the best. You know what I'm saying? On any given night, you can be the best. You're a face talking to a heel talking about some you can be the best. You're the WWE champion. You're supposed to be the best. You're the alleged QB1. You know what I'm saying? So what are you talking about? Then Cody says, what can I do for you? Can I love you? Can I respect you? Can I be proud of you? You know what I'm saying? And then Rollins basically says, I haven't worn this watch you gave me since Mania 40. Nobody cares. Then he basically says, you think you're QB1, which means that you're better than me. And I can't accept that because you are going to be my QB because I'm the head of the industry. I'm the top dog. You're the top dog. Sorry. He says that the Vision are not just goons, which they are. You know what I'm saying? The Vision are actually, part of my vision for the future of the industry. Okay. And then Seth Rollins says he's the alpha and he's the leader and that Cody's going to be his quarterback. And that's basically how this ends. Cody Rhodes beat this guy, 3+ times in a row? You know what I'm saying? Or 3 straight times in a row. I mean, like, what are we talking about at this point, man? Seth Rollins is calling himself the alpha. Nobody believes this. Nobody believes this. Even I, as a Seth Rollins fan, have to be honest with you at this point. Seth Rollins' fall off is insane. Nobody cares about what this guy has to say anymore. It's sad, but it's reality. We then move on, okay? Because I don't want to belabor this point, but man, Seth Rollins, whenever you give this to the top spot on a roster or on a Raw or Smack, it just doesn't work. He's not engaging. He's not interesting as the top guy. There's just a certain presence, a certain storytelling ability, an aura, you know what I'm saying, as many people say, that you have to have. You have to have a main event feel. And if you think that Seth Rollins has that, you're just being delusional at this point. He can have that if booked properly and actually given the right story material, but this current run with the Vision is a joke. It just is. It's a joke, man. We then move on to the New Day fighting against Penta and War Raiders for the 15th week in a row. Nobody cares. We then have Stephanie Vaquer. By the way, the New Day lost that match, so that's now the 5th feud straight they've lost, it feels like. They had the amazing heel turn. You move on, and now Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are getting jobbed out consistently, so that's that. And Big G Langston, as they're calling him now, which is a little bit funny, but it is what it is. It had a really cool ending, though. This match itself was pretty decent. I'm not going to lie. The match itself was pretty decent, if I'm being honest with you, okay? This match was really good. Not really good. It was a solid match, okay? There were some really good moves involved inside of the match, of course, but it's boring and nobody cares about what was happening. Penta ends it off with a Penta driver off the top rope, and that's basically that. Then we have Stephanie Vaquer coming out. All she basically said is that she's proud of the fans, she appreciates them, she loves her dad, she's glad her dad got to witness her do this, her dad's her hero, and she basically says that no one will be able to stop the fire that I have now as world champion. She said she's been working on her English, I think on the Chris Van Vliet podcast last week, or something she said a couple weeks ago about her working on her English or something like that, so it definitely does look like she's improved on the mic when it comes to her English, so that's cool to see. Hopefully her reign's good. I mean, honestly, at this point, we already know what she can do in the ring. This reign and the storytelling of it is really just going to be predicated on Triple H and her ability to cut live mic promos. If both of those things fail, this reign is going to be absolutely atrocious, just like Io Sky's world title reign. We then move on. We then have Rhea Ripley backstage. Rhea Ripley, as I covered this earlier, it's just her and Asuka complaining again for the 50th time. Nikki Bella thanks Stephanie Vaquer, congratulates her, or whatever. Rhea Ripley then comes over to basically, allude to the fact that she's going to try and take back a title that she never lost. Yeah. Then we move on from that, okay, and we basically have a situation where Asuka and Rhea have a face-off. They complain for 2 seconds as per usual, and then they announce they're going to have a match later. Then we have Rusev basically destroys JD McDonald's. No one really cares about this. Finn Balor comes out and actually gets a decent reaction pop. Finn Balor at this point needs to turn face. I saw his entrance at the NXT Homecoming episode last week, and I was like, man, Finn Balor can actually still go. You know what I mean? He can actually be still a good face, especially with how bot-like the crowd is now, the mindless hive mind bots at this point. I mean, I'm really thinking that Finn Balor can actually be a decent mid-card face if they turn him back to his old gimmick, so let's just hope that they can actually fix that. Next week, we're getting Rusev and Dominic for the IC title. I couldn't care less. We then move on, and we had Jey Uso versus Los Angeles Knight. This match ends with Jey Uso benefiting off of the Vision distracting and brawling with LA Knight temporarily, and then Jey Uso takes advantage, hits a super kick, hits a splash, and walks off. LA Knight then is about to get beat up, and Jimmy Uso comes out to try and save LA Knight with a chair, and then basically what happens is that, what was it called? Jey Uso says, nah, I'm not helping him out. Jey Uso had a backstage segment with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes and him were basically talking about how, man, Jay, you can do better, man. We are all here to support you, and we're here from you, and we know you're going to fight back from this. And then Jey Uso's looking at Cody's championship, and he's like, I appreciate that, Us, but we going to be okay. I don't know what this arc is leading to with Jey Uso. He's not winning another world title, so I don't know what the end game of this is. What is it, for him to get speared by Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble? I don't what is the end game here? I don't understand it, okay? And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but there was a backstage segment with Becky Lynch where she was basically saying she's gonna go out and make an example, and I don't remember seeing her at all after that backstage segment with Rollins. So I don't know what she made an example of. I don't know what she did. Maybe did I miss a segment or something? I don't understand. But she basically said she's gonna go make an example, and then nothing came from it. So thanks for the follow through, Hunter. Yeah, we had then there was the main event with Rhea and Asuka. Obviously, Rhea Ripley won the match. I mean, this goes without saying. Triple H is always gonna make Rhea Ripley win in 99.8% of scenarios. So that's basically that. I didn't really watch the match, so I don't really care. I saw a couple highlights from it. I mean, it's a match. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say about this. This isn't a main event match that you need to go back and rewatch. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, Rhea Ripley won the match, and then afterwards, Asuka basically turns heel officially. I mean, we already knew she was, but she officially turns heel on Io Sky. You would think that this would be some massive moment, but quite frankly, I do not care. Nobody cares that Io Sky got turned on by Asuka at this point. They've been alluding to it. It's practically already been happened like a month ago at this point, and we all know this is going to lead to Io and Rhea Ripley, who Rhea Ripley got, the poison mist in her eyes after the match. Asuka, spit at her with the poison mist thing, and then basically Kairi Sane and Asuka stood tall over Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and beat them up and ended the show, standing over them as the top heels now, I guess, in the women's tag division. So that's basically that. Obviously, it's going to be Io and Rhea at Crown Jewel Australia versus Asuka and Kairi Sane to get Rhea on the card, have another, match for her and stuff like that in front of the hometown crowd. And that's basically going to be it. I have nothing to say about this. I do not care, literally in the slightest. I'm assuming that after this, we're gonna get Io and Rhea versus versus Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, probably for the women's tag belts, probably at War Games or Survivor Series or something like that. And I'm actually down for that feud. That could actually be pretty entertaining if I'm being honest. So we'll see what happens with that. At the end of the day, this episode of Raw was complete garbage. I normally would give this show like a 2 or a 3 out of 10, but after what I saw tonight and just the straight garbageness of it and the repetitive, formulaic, monotonous trash that they continue to give us, I'm giving this show a 0 out of 10, and no, I do not care. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought about Raw in the comment section below. As always, have a phenomenal day. Peace out and one love.